Now that the carpet on the Civic is finally done, I can turn my attention back to the Golf. The parking brake cables popped recently, so now I have to replace them. Let's get to it. So here's my Golf, and I think I have snapped parking brake cables. Let me show you why. It's not holding the wheels, and there is definitely no resistance. So I need to fix it. Although I think I only need to jack up the rear to do the parking brake cables, it is also time for an oil change. So I'm just going to put all four wheels in the air. These are the new cables that I got from FCP Euro, lifetime warranty. The new cables seem to be the same. They have all the same features and seem to be the same length. So now I'm going to start taking off the old ones, starting at the brake caliper and working my way towards the handle. So this is a view of the passenger side rear caliper. And this is the old parking brake cable here. So we need to release this and remove that clip. With the end free and the clip removed, you should be able to just take it out of its bracket. Like that. If you follow the cable from the rear caliper, the next thing you come to is this here. And you release that by releasing that tab, and let me get in there. Prying these off. So we'll reuse this on the new one, if we don't ruin it. All right, so now that's free. So after the cable is free from that clip, there's this clip by the bushing, and that's easy to remove. You just squeeze it and it should pull out enough for you to get the cable off. I'm gonna squeeze it and put it back in so I don't misplace it. So here we are at the interior of the Golf, and we need to get below this section here, which is dirty. And I need to replace my center console. But if your entire console is intact, you need to remove the screw that's there, and there's another one on the other side. And then you can take off your shift knob just by pulling it straight up. But I don't have to do any of that because my console is broken. So I think I'll just be able to lift it. So let's see. So this comes out, and if everything was intact, there are screws right below these holes here, but mine is broken, so I can just lift it up. So let me see if I can take it all the way out. Not quite. Yeah, this console is in bad shape. I will be looking for a new one shortly. But all I had to do was free this front edge from that by just pressing down on it, and it came out. So now I should be able to lift the whole thing out. With the console out of the way, you can see that neither of the cables is connected to this bracket. And it looks like they might have been replaced before because they're different. I would imagine that they would both look the same. So let's see what we need to do to get them out. It seems like all I have to do is push them through the hole and I should be able to pull them from the bottom side. So I'm gonna try that. All right, now let's go back underneath and see what we got. So I'm back under the car, and this is a rigid line that goes all the way up to the grommet. So I'm just gonna pull on it and hopefully everything will come out. It's out. So let's go back and see what we need to do. So this is the passenger side cable that I have out, and I'm not sure why it came off of the bracket, because as I pull this in and out, you can see that it's still connected to the other side. So I'm gonna pull out the other one and see if it snapped, and that could cause an imbalance such that this end on the passenger side will become free and I have no parking brakes. So this is the driver's side rear caliper. This is the cable here, trying to free it from this lever, and I think I'm beginning to see what the problem is. If this snapped, it should be free to move in and out. And it's not. It's stuck. Like it seems to be seized inside the shield there. So it is a lot harder to take this one out. So I think we may have found the problem. Yeah, I got some pliers to pull this up. It should not have been that hard. So I think the problem started over here and caused issues on the other side. So I'm gonna go ahead and free this and see what it looks like. So this is the driver's side cable, and I'm already noticing differences. One, this protective boot is no longer there, and it's in worse shape, and it really does not move freely inside of the sheathing. So I'm gonna do the same thing I did with the other one to see if it moves. So yeah, I can't even get it to move. So I think that was our issue. Either this one snapped or came out of the bracket that's on the inside. And it likely caused the other one to do all the work. And I can see releasing the parking brake and then this one not having any tension and coming out. I don't know, but I'm certain that this is our issue because I can't even. Yeah, so this is a look at the end that is at the caliper, and it is in bad shape. It's all rusted inside of there. As you can see, this protective cover for the cable has been compromised, so that's why it's all seized up. I cannot get it out of the hard end though, so I don't know. I want to reuse this section here, but I cannot get it out. So I'm gonna try some things. All right, so that's how it is supposed to come out. So even though that's rusted, I can still reuse it. Since I want to get it going today, I think I'm going to try and just cut this and drill that out so I can put the new one in. There it came. Yeah, it was really stuck in there. But I think that'll do it. So this is the good old one. Let's see if it goes all the way through. Just pushing something out. I guess it did go all the way through. This was the other side. So now, this should go all the way through, no issues. Perfect. So now I can pull that. Good. So now, I don't need a new one. The guide tubes were a bit rusted, so I decided to grind away the rust and hit it with a coat of spray paint. So I got most of the big rust off of it. So now I'm gonna scuff it and hit it with some spray paint. I had some prep all laying around, so I hit the tubes with that before I wiped them down. So the paint for the parking brake guide tubes is now dry. So now all I have to do is put everything back together. I think I will position the guide tubes first and then snake the new parking brake cables in it. Positioning the guide tube was pretty straightforward. You just put the end of the tube that has the ring around it through the grommet and position it such that this end sits in that bracket, and that's the other one. After pushing the tubes through the grommet, the inside looks like this. So now I need to fish this into the guide tube. So that's what I'm gonna try and do. That should be it. Alright, and I'm going to play the same game on the other side. So with both cables inserted into the guide tubes, I can now direct my attention to the caliper. So now I'm just going to fish the cable back through the bracket and attach this clip. And since this is still free up front, you have a little bit more play to go ahead and pop it back in place. Simple as that. And I'll play the same game on the other side. At this point, I needed to reroute the cable through this clip and this clip. To get this clip on, what worked for me was positioning it and then pushing up on it with the screwdriver between the studs, and it eventually worked its way on. This clip was easy. It went on as easy as it came off. So now I just need to attach this bracket to the cables. As you can see, there's two far away to get behind both of them now. So you just loosen this so you can position both of them. And then I'm going to hold this up against them and tighten it. What I was shooting for here was for the cables to be just short of having no slack. A good way to do this is to tighten it down such that there is no slack and then back off several turns. I think that'll work. So now when I pull it, it should tighten the parking brakes. Let's see. Well, that side's locked. And that side is too. And before I call it good, I'm going to do one last check. I'm going to release the brake and make sure both sides of the rear end spin without any dragging. Well, with that done, I'm going to move on to rotating the tires. I already did the oil change, and tomorrow I will get to drive this car again. This is a good time to check in on the stud conversion that I did over 2 months ago. Everything looked good except for one stud. I could be nitpicking, but this is what I saw. In general, it looks good. All this here is just dust or dirt and it wipes off. But if you look closely at where the Allen wrench goes, on the corners there's a little bit of rust forming. I'll keep an eye on it and keep you guys updated. If you'd like to follow along with the work I do on my MK4 Golf and my EJ1 Civic, hit subscribe. Thanks for watching. Take care.